The number of companies offering self-defense legal protection can be pretty overwhelming. I get questions like, are these policies worth it? Which company's best? And how much do they cost?
You want answers?
So the other day I posted a poll asking my subscribers if they wanted me to make a video covering these programs, and over 80% of those who responded said yes.
I want the truth!
So here you go. But before we start, understand that this is not legal advice and I am not an attorney. I also encourage you to do your own research and fact check me, because I might make a mistake, misspeak, or the information I provide might be out of date by the time you watch this video. If you do notice I make a mistake or something I say is out of date, then please comment below. But enough legal disclaimers, let's get on with it. In case you aren't familiar, self-defense insurance is a program you pay into advance in case you get into a self-defense incident and you need legal protection. But after researching most of the popular companies that are out there, I noticed that most of them were about the same in terms of what they offered or didn't offer, and they also were about the same price.
And if you got cut rate insurance, you could be paying for this yourself.
And surprisingly, most of them couldn't even cover you in states like New Jersey, New York, or Washington State. There were also two troubling similarities that most of these companies shared, and the first one was that they wouldn't cover domestic violence related self-defense, and the other being that they wouldn't cover you if you were convicted of a crime. Let's cover domestic violence first. Many violent crimes have elements of DV, and like I covered in this video, many mass killings are related to domestic violence. And if you're unfamiliar with what's classified as a domestic relationship, it's not just limited to current spouses, current romantic partners, or immediate family members. Many jurisdictions define domestic relationships to also include ex-spouses, ex-boyfriend and girlfriends, and even former roommates. This means that if you were a client of one of these insurance providers and found yourself in a self-defense situation that had domestic elements, they may not cover you. And in my research, the only two insurance providers that would cover domestic violence were USCCA and CCW Safe. So next, let's talk about the other common theme that these insurance providers shared, which is that they won't cover you if you're convicted of a crime.
Your cut rate insurance might not pay for this.
Now, assuming you're a law-abiding citizen, and if you're watching this channel, you probably are, you're probably wondering why you would need to worry about this, because you think that you would never be charged with a crime in one of these incidents.
Or administrative.
I'm being charged with a crime?
And if that's the case, then you don't really need CCW or self-defense insurance in the first place. For instance, if you stopped an active killer during their killing spree, you're likely to be praised in the media and not need legal defense. However, if you have to defend yourself or a third party and the facts of the case are not obvious, then there's a reasonable, if not likely, chance that you will be charged with a crime, especially if you live in a jurisdiction that's infested with anti-self-defense lawmakers. And let's say the trial does not go in your favor and you're convicted. If that happens, many of these insurance providers can no longer cover you, and some will even ask you to reimburse what they already paid. So as I continued to research the options out there for self-defense legal protection, I became increasingly frustrated with what I considered to be massive gaps in coverage. But then I came across another company, and from what I could tell, they seemed completely different from those insurance companies. They're a law firm called Attorneys for Freedom, and they offer a program called Attorneys on Retainer. Everything I saw on the AOR website seemed to set them apart from those insurance companies, but I'd become so jaded at this point that I suspected they were about the same. So I came up with a list of questions and then called them to confirm whether or not they were different. And when I called AOR, I spoke with Sarah, who's an account manager, and she's been extremely helpful in answering all my questions and continues to answer my questions as I email her. Sarah confirmed that unlike insurance companies, their company doesn't have the same restrictions because they're a law firm. AOR would even cover someone if they're convicted of a crime that's related to self-defense because they're defense attorneys, and that's what defense attorneys do.
I'm going to defend you either way.
And they will also cover self-defense cases related to domestic violence. Plus, they have no restrictions on where they can offer their services, unlike those insurance providers that can't cover you in New York, New Jersey, or Washington State. I was informed that someone had to only meet 3 criteria for coverage. The client has been formally charged or is reasonably concerned about being formally charged with a crime, felony, or misdemeanor, and the client reasonably and in good faith asserts self-defense or defense of a third party as a defense to the charge, and the criminal charges arise from events wholly occurring after the effective date of this agreement, which basically means you have to be a member before the event occurs. So I'm gonna list some factors that self-defense insurance providers may not cover, but AOR explicitly states they'll cover. And as I read this list, you may think that you'll never need legal defense against these things because you're a law-abiding citizen. And you might be right. However, as we enter an era where anti-self-defense policies become more mainstream, the need for legal protection might be more necessary than you think. Criminal acts, negligent discharges, incidents involving alcohol or drugs, illegal weapons used, no weapon used, or weapons other than firearms used, domestic violence, places where firearms are prohibited, and then absence of a CCW permit, or if you're a prohibited person. If you've been following this channel for a while, then you know that I value honesty and integrity.
You can't handle the truth.
So if I didn't mention the things I don't like about the AOR program, I'd be doing you and me a disservice. The first problem being that they don't cover minors in their family plan. And I'm really hoping that this will change because I believe that a family plan should include the entire family.
Hello.
And if this has changed by the time you watch this video, then please comment below. And this brings us to the final critique, which is that they only cover an active self-defense incident. But I don't look at self-defense as a singular event. I view self-defense as a holistic mindset that permeates a lifestyle of general preparedness. And the critique I'm speaking of is that I don't believe any of these policies, including AOR, will cover someone charged with the victimless crime of carrying their self-defense gun into a gun-free zone, or someone who becomes an outlaw overnight as a result of new legislation passed by an anti-self-defense lawmaker. I firmly believe that these types of legal protection should be included if someone were a member of one of these programs. Though I don't know any company that would cover something like this, but I hope I'm wrong, and if I am, comment below. Now, for criminal charges that do not qualify as self-defense, an AOR client has the option to use them for legal representation at a discounted rate of 35%. However, the client has to cover any pro hoc vice fees and travel expenses. Overall, these were the only cons I could come up with for the AOR program. And I was really impressed with what they had to offer, especially compared to those other companies. So much so that I became an affiliate of AOR, and if you want more information, then you can scan this QR code or click my affiliate link in the description. And if you decide to sign up, don't forget to use promo code DAD to save $25 on your initial sign up. And I know that some of you are probably thinking that the only reason I'm promoting AOR is because I'm an affiliate. However, I'm also an affiliate with one of the CCW insurance providers, but I haven't promoted them yet because I wanted to make sure that I was promoting a good product. And it was during my research that I found out about AOR.
And the truth shall set you free.
I have had several brands contact me about affiliate partnerships, but I only accept the brands that I trust and that I think will actually benefit you. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that other CCW insurance providers or other programs out there have no value, because some of these programs have actually paid for legal defense for their clients. But what I am saying is that it's important to understand the limitations of these policies and to do your research and to understand what you're paying for. And to not just trust some random guy on YouTube. Because many people sign up for these services and they don't fully understand what they cover and what their limitations are. And if you're interested, AOR has a chart on their website where they compare their coverage to other companies. And if you're like me and you think that charts like that might be biased, then just call them or call the other companies and ask what is included or not included in their contract.
You do that for me? Really? Yeah, I'd like that.
Who are you talking to?
It's Jake from State Farm.
I hope this was helpful and that I answered some questions you had about these programs. Thanks again for watching, and as always, train to a higher standard.